should be recording. All right, so it'll be just us three today. Let me pull up some notes here so you guys can see this. All right. That's weird, it won't let me share. There it goes. Okay. All right, can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay. So it's gonna be just us three. It'll give us chance for good conversation. We might end it a little earlier because this isn't a super heavy topic, not a ton to go over, but just want to kind of dial in some best practices and go over this. A lot of this you guys might be doing. We're gonna find out, but we're just gonna start from the beginning, go over everything, see if you guys have any suggestions, and then probably wrap up after that. So what I want to talk about today is presenting offers in the conversations with a listing agent and winning multiple offer situations. Okay, so let's start with the presenting the offers and the conversations with the listing agent. I definitely think that there is a skill to this, or a tactic to this, right? Um, yeah, I think we don't ever want to be the agent that doesn't communicate with the listing agent, that sends over just the documents, right? Like we want to go above and beyond. That template that we use, I'm assuming, do you guys all use, when you guys are submitting offers, I think you both use this, but are you guys using this template right here? The the new offer template?
Yeah, I always use it.
Chance, did you use this?
I haven't used it yet.
You
I haven't
haven't?
submitted.
No, okay. So this is in here. We've gotten a lot of really good feedback from this. Um, we'll go over it just a little bit, but basically, uh, it's way above just your basic, like, hey, here's our offer, right? Like we want to really set ourselves apart with this. Like you could honestly win an offer just simply by having the best offer template, right? So basically, we just start by thanking them for their time and just letting them know how grateful we are. Then we put in a little bit about our clients, whatever you think would be, persuade your, push the listing agent to really liking your clients, right? They're a family, this is their forever home, whatever the case may be. I like to put, obviously see our attached offer, but these highlights I think go a really long ways. Now you can adjust these to whatever you need, right? Like if you're going below asking, I would just delete this and I would just put the purchase price, or the offer price, I should say. Financing can be whatever you think. If it's like, if they're doing like 3% down, I would probably delete this and just put this on here, right? Close of escrow, anything about the inspection, appraisal, title company, and then there's anything down here, like if you're giving them any credit on your side to offset something, if you're covering, they're waiving the inspection or whatever. Like you can put all of that right here. And then I always like to end it with, basically just saying that we have a good team behind us, right? Let them know that they're it's not just us, right? I pride myself on communication. We have the best, transaction coordinators, all of this stuff. So should be pretty plug and play. When you get the offer, you just type in what your clients need, type in the offer price, and I don't know, Hayden, do you feel like this saves you time when writing offers that are, as high level as this? Like, do you like this template? Do you have any ideas, like anything we could add to it, take away? Like, what are your thoughts since you've used it a couple times?
I mean, I always change it, obviously, depending on the transaction. I don't think it necessarily saves me time, but I've gotten positive feedback from listing agents on it saying that it's really nice. Like it shows that we care a lot, which is super, super important. So,
Good.
yeah, I obviously just change it every single time depending on the situation,
Right.
but I wouldn't necessarily change anything. Like I think it's a good outline to go off
A
of,
good
like a
outline.
good start point.
Good. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. And just to kind of show you, just to give you like an idea, like let's see if I can find a new offer in here. right here. So like here's kind of an example, right? Very similar. I had talked about my client a little bit, but kind of like what Hayden is saying, like I put just clean, non-contingent using their title company, the offer price, financing, but like you saw, like I deleted some of those bottom ones, right? Like this one's a little bit modified, kind of in the same way Hayden is. So, any questions on the offer template, Chance?
No.
Okay. Hopefully this will help. Again, you do not have to use it, but it's something that I've had success with, so I just put it in there for you guys to R&D in any way that you want to. Um, so let's start with Chance, since you've done the new build, right? And then I submitted the offer for Sean and Tiffany. Um, you have a client, they want to write an offer on a house. Okay. How would
Hmm.
you go about that situation? What walk me step by step as to what you're gonna do if you just left the house, you need to write an offer. What are you gonna do exactly? Walk me step by step.
I would call the listing agent.
Okay, let's role play that. How's that conversation going? So ring ring. Hello?
Hi, Guy.
Yeah.
Hey, Guy. This is Chance with the Lawton team. I just showed your house on 123 Main Street, and my clients love the home. They're very interested in the home itself. Now, I wanted to ask a few questions that they had on the home in general.
Okay.
Um, they were wondering on the AC unit. I didn't see any notes in there. Do you know when it was last updated?
It's original.
Okay. Okay, perfect. And then, like I said, they do show a lot of interest in the home. I was curious, do you have any offers sitting on the table at the moment so I could best guide my clients on the offer that we would like to make?
Uh, we have one person that said that they were gonna submit it, and then we have an investor that lowballed us. Um,
Okay.
so nothing in hand yet, but we are expecting a verbal, and like I said, that investor offer, we're pretty much throwing that out the table.
Okay. Okay. So you've had a couple on the table, it sounds like.
Yeah, just the investor and some verbals.
Okay, perfect. And honestly, from there right now, I don't know what to say, but other than like I would close the conversation on okay, me and my clients are going to go ahead. I'm going to speak with them, and we're going to put together an offer for you. I like personally, I feel like it just depends on the listing agent and the full situation.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
like it depends on the house. Like we just kind of role played some random house out there. But there's specific questions you might ask depending on the home itself and what your client's goals are. And I don't know. It depends. Like if we're going to lowball it, I might come at it a little bit different. If we're going to, and that's really the information I'm digging, asking you those questions, but
Okay.
to see
Hayden,
what you got.
Hayden, are you able to chime in on any advice that you'd give for a chance up to the point where he kind of stopped? Anything you would add or do different or anything?
I mean, from there, I would ask them, like, oh, not stuttering, obviously, but do your clients not want an investor? Like, are they hoping to, get a family in the home? And then I would ask them what is important to their seller. It depends on the situation, like Chan said, but I usually like to give them an idea of what we're going to put in, not with specific numbers necessarily, but I will give them like a basic outline and be like, is that something that you think your clients would be open to? Is there anything else that's really important to them? Like, what's their motivation for selling? All of
Yeah.
that information, because obviously the listing agents want to get the best for their sellers and we want to get the best for our clients. So usually I've found that like asking the right questions, they're willing. I mean, I've every single time I've put in an offer, they pretty much tell me exactly what they're looking for. So
Yeah.
that's super important. Just finding out what is important to their clients.
Right. Um, does that all resonate, Chance? Is that kind of some stuff that you typically would do, would you say, or does that help a little bit?
Yeah, and like I said, it really it like she said as well, it depends on that situation. Like it is obviously, like she said, important to figure out what the good one that she brought up that I didn't bring up as well is the reason they are selling, and what kind of offer they are looking for. Typically, it's going to say in there if they are accepting cash or finance or stuff like that. But I think digging deep in, the more you get into the conversation, you can ask more questions and lead into what
Yeah.
you're going to put the offer in as. But I think there's a strategy behind it and really getting to know what offers they have had, what they've been dealing with. And I don't know 100% if all agents are honest on that as well.
Yeah.
I could say I got three offers on this home to make it sound like it's very enticing,
Right.
and you probably want to put an offer in over what we were looking for.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? Like it, but their goal is to sell the home for the client. So it depends on that client's goals. They
Yeah.
may be trying to get a lot of money or just trying to get out of the home.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I would say, I mean, like you both said, it is very situational. I will say this though, I think something that's not situational that I will get into habit, at least I personally do this, is number one, what Hayden brought up is the whole, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, what are your clients looking for? Question, right? Like I always ask, is there anything that they're looking for that stands out, right? Do they need a post possession? Do they need a short close, long close? Is there anything unusual about this? Because you just never know what is going on with that particular seller or what could matter to them. Um, Finding out the unique stuff is like huge. And I'll give you a really good example on this too. It can get agents free flowing, right? So we talk about scripting and we talk about asking a question can open up your client to giving you more than what your question is, right? Same thing with listing agents. So like yesterday I showed a home, or 2 days ago I showed a home, and my clients loved it, and I called the listing agent, and she was pretty short, and like she wasn't rude, but she wasn't the nicest, most outgoing agent I ever spoke with. She's very short. She didn't want to give me a lot. And I asked her at the end, I said, well, when we're writing this offer, is there anything I need to know? Or is there anything that your clients are looking for in particular? Like, what can I do to make this offer as strong as possible? And she pretty much said it was pretty straightforward, but what she volunteered at some point was that they have a counter offer out that they've already sent back. And if I hadn't asked those additional questions, I wouldn't have known that. And now I don't know what the time frame for my client is, right? Because when I asked like for offers, or when I asked what was going on, she didn't say anything about the counter. She just kind of avoided it. But by me asking more questions, she got into finally telling me about the counter. And then I was able to ask, like, well, when's that counter going to expire? If I send you a good offer, would you rescind that counter? Good teaching point is, just so you guys know, if a counter offer is out, a listing agent can rescind a counter offer with an email if it's not executed. So like if Chance sends out a counter, but then Hayden calls him and says, I want to get a all cash buyer 100,000 over, Chance can rescind that counter with an email to the person that they send that counter to. Did you guys were you aware of that?
yeah, but that's if it's not accepted already,
If it's
correct?
not accepted already, yes.
Okay.
I'm confused. Can you like re-explain that?
Yeah. So if you send out a counter offer, okay, so you're the listing agent and you send out a counter offer, and like so you received an offer in your house. You countered them back $5,000 difference, right? But you get like a call for somebody that's like, "Hey, I'm about to submit an all cash offer that's $10,000 higher." You can actually rescind that counter before it is executed, meaning that first counter you sent out, if
Oh, okay. I like misheard you. Okay, I understand. Thank you.
yeah. So the point is like I've had multiple offers accepted from agents that I've convinced to cancel the counter before it was executed. So don't always, if your client loves the home, don't always just give up on if a counter's out, they're gonna have an accepted contract. It's not always true. They can rescind that. So, um, yeah, but digging into those questions, I think is really big. How pers I'll tell you another thing that's kind of worked with me over the course of COVID during those 2 years when it was crazy and there was multiple offers. Like I went through 2 years where pretty much every home I submitted an offer for had multiple offers. Like I can't remember one time where there was not at least 2 to 3 offers on a home that I was submitting an offer for. Like right now is stressful because you're not submitting as many offers as you would like. It was equally as stressful submitting an offer that every single time you knew you were going to have to waive everything and beat out other offers. It was just a different type of stress, right? So one thing that I would say get really comfortable with is don't be afraid to talk to the listing agent like you would like if it was like your cousin or your mom that was that listing agent, right? Like there's been multiple times where I've been very straightforward with the listing agent like, "Hey, tell me where I need to be. You have 3 offers on this. Tell me where I need to be. What do you need from me? Write my offer for me verbally, and I will take it back to my client and I will do everything I can. I just need to know what's going to get this offer accepted," right? I was very straightforward. Um, do you guys feel comfortable being like straightforward and asking those type of questions with listing agents in a multiple offer situation?
I would say so. Like it doesn't scare me to do that. I
Okay.
just don't have that scenario in front of me. So yeah,
Okay. Keep it in mind. I'm sure probably Hayden. I don't see you as somebody that's afraid to ask the listing agent pretty much any question, right?
So I have done that exact thing, like not in like in the situation where there were like whatever it was, I think it was 18 offers or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I had like maybe 4 different phone calls with the listing agent, like as we're going through the process, just staying updated on everything. And then I literally was like, tell me what we need to do. I was like, what is gonna win? What do your clients want? Like
Yeah.
what
Good.
price we need to be at, like all of those specific
Great.
questions. I'm like, do we need to shorten this or waive that? Like, what do you want for me to
Great.
win? Because I want it, my clients want this house and we're gonna get it. So
Perfect.
didn't,
Perfect.
but
Good.
I'm good with that conversation for
Good.
sure.
Okay. So let's go back to the offer presentation. So Chance, you've called the listing agent. Okay.
hmm
Continue walking me step by step on what you would do on getting from the house to presenting the offer. What's step number 2?
I would call the listing agent, get the information, then call
Yep.
my clients, let them know what's going on
Okay.
in that situation, and basically, I would let them know what the listing agent's looking for, what
Good.
these sellers are looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not that's something they want to do or not, that's where you proceed or not. But,
Right.
realistically, we're going to go with we're writing an offer
Yep.
and we're putting in an offer, let's say at list price, whatever. Okay,
Okay.
perfect. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is write up the offer for you. I'm going to shoot it over through an email. I want you to review that offer. And I mean, typically I would go through, write up the offer, but during that you're still getting all the information from the clients that hopefully you got a majority of it already. Where are we comfortable down payment wise?
Yeah.
What's our closing date?
Yep.
These are all things going back and forth situational, but ultimately we're going to write the offer
Okay.
uh,
So you write the
and get
offer. You write
signed.
you write the offer. It's signed, right? We'll not worry about the terms or anything right now, but you write the offer, it's signed. You send it over to the listing agent in that email.
hmm
What's your next? Are you done at that point, or do you have any more steps?
Well, at this point, we've talked to the listing agent.
Yep.
Again, depending on the situation, but if look, going with this situation where you submitted an offer, got it to the listing agent, we're letting the listing agent know. You could text the listing agent, you send that email, hey, just wanted to let you know the client submitted their offer on the home. Please let me know if you have any questions, yada yada yada. Um, And throughout that time, you're asking those questions, you're getting those details. What's a comfortable. At this point, typically what we did and what I've done with my previous offers is I try to give them as least time as possible to respond. Um, Again, situational, but we did one day because we want to hear back as soon as possible. Um, there could be situations where you give them 3 days. I don't know. Depends on scenario, but
Right. So we're not too worried about the terms, right? So you got the terms because you talked to your client and you already got the
hmm
terms for the offer. You typed it up. You don't really need to worry about terms anymore at that point. You've gotten what you need, right? You sent it to them for the DocuSign. So what you're saying is, just to make sure I understand, now that that email comes back saying DocuSign is complete, now you're attaching it to the email, sending it over, and then you send a text to the listing agent saying that you submitted the offer.
text or call
Or call.
or
Okay.
yeah,
Perfect. Okay. And
yep.
then
And I think again, it all depends where you're at, but yeah.
perfect. Now you send the text or the call. What does what's are you done at that point, or is there, what does the
No, I
next
mean,
time
there's
look like?
more to it. You like in your pre-phasing things, like what's the next step for the client? Your client themselves, what's their next step? Realistically, we're sitting and waiting, and that's when everyone's twiddling their fingers. So you still want to obviously be on top of your client, but your client's just as nervous as you are to hear back, if not more.
Mm-hmm.
So it's keeping your client comfortable in that situation. We're gonna wait. Either we're gonna get a yes or a no or a counter offer. There's three ways that we can handle this, but we're gonna wait for that to come in to deal with that situation realistically. Other than that, we're not sitting here shopping more houses. I'm not sending them more houses. I want to keep them dialed on that one house and scenario driven. God forbid that offer doesn't get accepted. Someone else got the home. That one just didn't work out. Hey, we got plenty more options. Here's, back to square one and keep the dice rolling and get them in another home. So
Okay. Hayden, anything to add to that?
I mean, after I submit an offer, depending on timing, of course, I'll usually, like, let's say we submit it on Wednesday, I'll check in with the listing agent on Thursday, like either morning or midday if we haven't heard back. But yeah, I do the same thing. I always text the listing agent once I submit my offer and I just say, hey, we just sent over our offer. Can't wait to hear back from you. Let me know if you have any questions or anything. But yeah, I do check in with them like usually one time, and that's usually enough.
Good.
so
Now,
I'll text my client too and be like, hey, we submitted our offer. Like, I'm gonna stay updated with the listing agent. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll keep you updated.
what were you gonna say, Chance?
I wanted to say something important on this because it's like the first offer I submitted, I just went for it. Really didn't have much guidance through it, much of this or anything like that. To where I just put in the offer at list price, thought everything would be perfect, asked for a little 10% or a little concession in there. I forget how much, but the main thing was after I submitted the offer, and this is where I see things can be an issue depending on situation, of course. But if you don't want to hound the listing agent, you don't want to ask again. There's situations where I think you want to leave it alone during that waiting time as well, to where you might sound a little too grabby to the listing agent. I don't know if you've ran into this guy where you just try too hard and ultimately it pushes a listing agent away from your offer to get an easier one. I don't know. I think I kind of possibly steered someone away from my offer. Maybe it wasn't the situation, but I think I called the next day and I was like, hey, where are we at? And then later on after that, I texted again because I haven't heard back. So my clients were antsy. That made me antsy and it weared off towards the listing agent. I don't know, but
So I'll tell you this. It, it's gonna in 5 years I've never been and I check in with them, right? Like if I'm submitting an offer at like 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, I will check in with them at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, if my client
Mm-hmm.
really wants the house. um, I would try to get it out of your head that you're going to ruin the deal by being too pushy with the listing agent.
Mm-hmm.
um, I think that you're gonna take 3 to 4, like if you're following up with them 3 to 4 times within like a 24 hour, then that
Mm-hmm.
is maybe a little bit too much. But 1 to 2 check-ins is not too much. And if that pushes them away, which I have never seen that happen, I'm not saying it can't happen, but it's very, very
Mm-hmm.
rare that that would happen, then that listing agent's probably not good anyways. A good listing agent or a majority of listing agents are going to want to see that you are on top of things, that you communicate well. It is very, very, you'd have to be very excessive to push them away, right? So, like,
Mm-hmm.
a good kind of rule of thumb is you submit the offer, you let them know. Depending on the time of day, if you submit any time in the afternoon, I'm checking, like if it's in the morning, I'm checking in the afternoon. If it's early afternoon, I'm checking at night if I haven't got anything back. If it's at night, like 5 o'clock, I'm waiting until the next morning to check in. But I'm at least checking in one time between that 24 to 48 hour notice, unless the agent directly is like, hey, don't call me, which I've never had that happen. But if they tell you not to check in, maybe then you wouldn't want to. But you're
Mm-hmm.
not going to be too pushy to 99.9% of agents. All you're doing is protecting your client. You're showing that you communicate well. You're showing that you care. You're showing that you're on top of things. So I would say lean towards over communicating than under communicating, because I can tell you that I have under communicated and I have lost deals because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And not that over
Okay.
communicating is going to ensure that you 100% get the deal, but it is going to put you in a 10 times better chance if you are checking in with them. Like I'll tell you, like, and you'll know that you'll get this feeling when you have listings yourself, like saying no to the agent that makes you like them and saying no to the agent that actually cares about their client's offer is really, really hard. Like, even if the other offer is better, you want to go with that other agent just because you like them and know they're going to do a better job
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, right? So,
Yeah.
always get in the habit of over communicate than under communicate when presenting offers with listing agents.
Okay. So that's where even with that one, I think that's overthinking on my end. Maybe I just got beat out on an offer,
I
honestly.
I bet
But
you just got beat
yeah,
out. It would surprise you, would
yeah,
be dealing with a really crappy agent if they said no to your offer because you over communicated, and I doubt you over communicated also.
yeah. I wasn't hounding them 3 times a day. It was like
No.
a text at the end of every day.
Yeah.
Hey, you know,
And
where are
and
we at? Any questions?
and the way
What
that
can I
you verb it, the
provide?
way that you word it can really determine a lot, right? Like sometimes if I feel like I'm getting a little pushy, I'll just tell them like, "Hey, it's me again. I know you're probably tired of hearing me from me. I'm really, really sorry, but my client wants this home. Like I'm not trying to be pushy. I've had listings. I get how, where you're going through, but like I just did another offer come in. Are we still number one? Like asking like, are we still at the top of
Mm-hmm.
the list, or is there even a list, is a really good question to ask. But like if you
Mm-hmm.
come across as like you're not calling and be like, hey, did you make a decision yet? Like hurry up, what the hell,
Yeah.
right? Like your conversation is simply, hey, my client wants this home. I'm sorry, you've been awesome, but like, is there anything we need to do last second to secure this deal for my client? Nobody's going to be mad and push you away because of a conversation like that.
Another
Yeah.
thing too, I with that situation where there were 18 offers on it, and I spoke to the listing agent on the phone maybe like 3 or 4 times within that period of like writing our offer and putting it in. I was like, that's a lot. I don't normally talk to them that much, but I just wanted to stay on top of where we were at, if we needed to up our offer, stuff
Yep,
like that. The
absolutely.
listing agent actually like said to me, he's like, I really appreciate, I can tell you really care about this for your client, and I see how bad your clients want it, and I really appreciate your communication. Like,
Yeah.
because a lot of the other offers too were investors, and he's like, I know that you really want this home and he told me everything because he's like, I want you guys to get it.
Mm-hmm.
So he really appreciated that.
Yep. The more that you can get him on your side, and that's a fantastic call out, and thank you for pointing that out. Um, Another point proven chance, like the more you can get people. I've had offers won, and when I say like offers, I'm not talking like one or two. I have had handfuls of offers won simply because the offers were so close, but they liked me better than the other agent. They knew that it was going to be a better transaction with my agent or with me than the other agent. Even if I'm talking my client up, like I know my client is going in and they're going to be a pain in the ass and they're just annoying. I'm still like, hey, I have a great relationship with this client. Like you just want your client an opportunity to play ball, right? So getting somebody to like you is super important, and that's what Hayden did, and that's look how far it went for her. So that's awesome. Any questions on any of that? I think that's a pretty good layout. I would follow that exact process that you did, Chance. I think you did it right. You call the listing agent every single time. You then call the client, figure out what the terms are. You submit it and you let the agent know. A text is going to always be better than a call, of course, depending on how that agent has been communicating with you, of course. I let my client know. I am following and checking in however many times it takes, depending on when I submit that offer. It's a pretty standard timeline. You'll be surprised when you get listings how many agents don't do any of this. Like, it's crazy. So you're setting yourself ahead of 70% of agents just by following this guideline right here. Questions, comments, anything to add, take away? We feel good.
Feel good.
Good. Good. Um, Multiple offer situations. Let's just touch onto this a little bit. Number one, I think it's pretty much the same. The only thing different is your conversation with the listing agent gets a little bit more in detail. You got to find more stuff out, right? So, for example, one thing I like my go-to is I don't know if you have permission or not, but do you have permission from your client to disclose what the other offers are? Like I'm trying to ask what those other offers are. To me, it's super important. I need to know what they are. They're going to tell you, no, I can't disclose, just give me your highest and best, or they're going to tell you exactly where you need to do. Whatever you can do to get them to tell you what that multiple offer is, that's everything right there, right? Um, that's really the biggest difference in a multiple offer situation is just finding out what the other offers are, and your follow-up has to be on point with multiple offers, exactly how Hayden's was. Her follow-up was on point with that offer that had 18 of them, and she built good rapport because of that. Other than that, I would say it's very, very similar, same process. With the last 3 minutes, I want to just go over a couple different things that we can possibly do to make our offer stronger. So throw out all the ideas other than, I mean, obviously purchase price, asking price is the most obvious one. What are other things that we can do when writing an offer to make it stronger? Just rattle them off.
Uh, there's a lot you can waive things,
So
whatever it is. Preferably, that would be my last go to. Is waiving appraisals or waiving inspections, but that's an option. You can pull heartstrings. Again, this is a
just
family.
terms wise. We just want to talk terms right now. What terms can we do to make our offer stronger?
I mean, if your client is comfortable and able to, you can always do the appraisal gap waiver.
Okay. What else? Let's keep thinking. There's so many more, right? So we've
As
increased.
it is, like
Say that again. Sorry.
you could take it as is.
Okay. What else? Anything else come to
An
mind?
appraisal waiver.
Yeah.
You can give your commission to a point.
Okay.
This is not terms, but you can do an offer letter.
More earnest money.
Offer letter is good. Earnest money, absolutely. Anything else?
Pretty sure I remember at some point seeing some type of a, but I don't know if
Your
it's.
client is a multi-billionaire. They want the house. They're not. They want the house. They're willing to do whatever they need to outside of purchase price. So let's rattle off some here, right? So price is number
Yeah.
one. You can waive the inspection. You can shorten the inspection. You can keep your you can take it as is, where it's just like an accept or deny. You can do the appraisal gap coverage. You can completely do an appraisal waiver altogether. You can increase your earnest money. You can make your earnest money non-refundable after a certain point, right? After inspection, it goes non-refundable. You can offer to pay seller's closing costs, commission reduction. What else? I mean, that's a lot right there. I'm trying to think. I think that's it.
Yeah, those are like the main ones.
I mean, you could push the closing date to
And
closer if they're trying to
closing
get it out of
date.
the house
Yep,
quicker.
absolutely. And post possessions. So, all right. Well, we're gonna run out of time. I think that about covers it. Thank you guys for jumping on. I think today went really well. Hopefully you picked up some things. But call me if you need anything. And thank you guys for joining me today.
Thank you.
Cool.
Talk to you soon.
Have a good one at the open house today. Good luck.
Bye.
See ya.